Wally Cleaver was the kind of older brother that we all wish we'd had growing up. Even though he could get a bit exasperated from his younger brother's antics, first and foremost, he was the Beaver's friend, and on many occasions, his confidant. The person that the Beav turned to when he was trying to figure things out, but wasn't ready to talk to Mom and Dad yet. One of the things that you frequently hear about Leave It to Beaver is that the show presented a very idyllic version of what family life was like, and Wally and the Beaver's relationship as brothers, well, it was definitely that. And I think permeating throughout all of the idealism was a strong feeling of kindness. Yep, the Beaver, and every once in a while Wally, well, they'd get themselves into hot water, but at the end of the day, love would triumph, and along the way, teach a valuable lesson or two. You know, I could ramble on about this show forever, but today we're here to talk about Tony Dow, the actor who played Wally Cleaver for 6 seasons on network television and has been Wally ever since, as the show lives on in perpetuity through reruns and syndication. So without any further delay, here are 5 things that you might not have known about Tony Dow. Number 1. Tony was quite the athlete, and from a very early age had trained to be a swimmer and diver. Before being cast as Wally on Leave It to Beaver, he had hopes of someday competing in the Olympics. Prior to the show, Tony's only acting gig had been a role as Boy on a failed Tarzan TV pilot. The second thing is that Tony wasn't the producer's first choice for the role. In fact, when the pilot was filmed for Leave It to Beaver, another actor was cast as Wally. Unfortunately for him, but fortunately for the rest of us, over the course of just a few months, that young actor had a growth spurt and was almost as tall as Hugh Beaumont, the actor who played Wally Cleaver. As a result, the decision was made to recast the character, and Tony was hired. And the rest, as they say, was television history. As I mentioned earlier, although it feels like it ran forever, Leave It to Beaver only aired for 6 seasons. While its premiere season was on CBS, the remaining 5 seasons were on ABC. After the show ended, Tony found work guest starring on shows like My 3 Sons and Dr. Kildare. Tony loved acting, but as he aged and matured, he started to feel something else pulling at him. It was his sense of country and the deep love and pride that he had to be an American. Which takes us to the third thing that you might not know about Tony, which is that from 1965 to 1968, he served in the National Guard. So for a period of time, Tony set aside his career in the entertainment industry and focused on serving both community and country. The National Guard is unique because they respond to domestic emergencies as well as overseas combat missions. They also get involved in counter-drug efforts, reconstruction missions, and so much more. After his stint in the National Guard, Tony continued to find roles in TV and movies, but at some point he realized that the income that he was earning from those roles, well, it would need to be supplemented with a day job. So during the 70s, Tony worked in the construction industry while furthering his skills by going back to school and studying journalism and filmmaking. Of course, the 80s brought us the wonderful revival of the Leave It to Beaver program titled Still the Beaver. At some point it was also called The New Leave It to Beaver. Whatever it was called, it was wonderful to catch up with old friends again. Alright, back to my list. Number 4. During the early 90s, Tony admitted that he had been suffering from clinical depression for years. In an article by Clifford Terry of the Baltimore Sun, Dow admitted that there was some irony in the fact that he'd been on a program that epitomized the ideal world of the 50s, and here he was battling depression. Never one to shy away from trying to do good, to make lemonade out of lemons, Dow became an honorary spokesman for the National Depressive and Manic Depressive Association. He also helped produce a video series titled Beating the Blues. Tony also found that he could be part of the entertainment industry and not always be in front of the camera. During the 90s, he directed TV shows like Harry and the Hendersons, Deep Space Nine, and yes, that incredibly subversive and yet still loving homage to shows like Leave It to Beaver, Get a Life, starring the one and only Chris Elliott. Can you tell that I love this show? I really do, and one of these days I'll make a video about why I love Get a Life so much. But right now, I've still got one more thing that you might not know about Tony to share. You see, these days Tony has reinvented himself as a sculptor of abstract bronze figures. Tony has said this about his work: "My creations are abstract and not meant to represent reality, but rather the truth of the interactions as I see and feel them." While Tony's works of art have been in galleries worldwide, I absolutely love that one of Tony's pieces was prominently on display in the backyard garden of Barbara Billingsley, the wonderful actress who played his mother on Leave It to Beaver. Alright, that's it. If you are a fan of Leave It to Beaver and you're not a member of the Leave It to Beaver Fan Club Facebook group, get over there right now and do that. I promise you won't regret it. But wait, before you do that, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click on the thumbs up icon. And what the heck, why not subscribe to my YouTube channel? I talk about music, movies, and television, mostly from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.